beautiful people. We actually have a double broadcast today. This Heart to Heart is all about managing mom life. I am not a mother myself. I actually have a niece and several nephews, but I know many, many mothers. And a lot of you who watch this broadcast are mothers yourself. I watch my mom raise six children. Yes, I'm one of six. For those of you who do not know, I happen to be in the middle. And the middle child definitely, you hear about middle child syndrome and all of that. I think I do have that because there was I felt left out of things, but we're gonna be talking about a lot of different stuff with Agnieszka today. And so I am looking invited you in. And mothers deal with a lot, really do. It amazes me the number of things and how mothers are able to manage and conquer daily life. But the beautiful thing is you do not have to do it alone, because sometimes we feel that. We feel like I gotta do this by myself. No, you don't. You have help, you have assistance, you have tools, you have resources. There's opportunities for growth. There's all kinds of stuff. And you don't have to do any of it alone. You have support. You have support systems, all of that. It's saying you are unable to join. I don't know. This thing acts up from time to time. There you are. I see you.
Hang on a second. I need to switch my camera. Oh, there I am.
Hello. How are you? How are you today, Agnieszka?
Pretty good right now.
Good.
Had an interesting night last night. So, but I made it out, and I'm here.
Good. That's all that matters, because sometimes we can have those ups and downs of life, and this is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Like, the life of a mother is the ups and downs. No day is going to be like any other day. It's like,
nope, not even close. I wish, but no. It gets really, really crazy, as I'm sure many parents can relate to this. It's just different every day. I mean, like, you wake up one day and you had a great night's sleep, or you wake up, with broken sleep because, your daughter decided to wake everybody else up at night, or whatever the issue is at hand. And it's just the busyness of everything, having to do everything, whether that's running your own business, taking care of the house. I'm lucky enough to stay at home because my husband works. But not everybody has that opportunity to be able to do that. And my heart goes out to those moms, because I know how hard it is to just want to do it all. And the thing is, like, you can't do it all. Like, that's what I've come to learn. Like, it's okay to not be able to do it all. Like, and you just, because so what I'm trying to say here is that our mental health is where it gets to be affected when we go through these days of, like, the stress, the worry, getting the things done that we need to done, and pile of laundry, whatever it is. I mean, like, we just get so overwhelmed with everything that we get hit at inopportune times, and then end up, like, lashing out at other people, like, because it'll just, like, get to you, and you're just gonna explode, so to speak. Because I have those days. I mean, like, I actually sometimes myself have to stop reacting, because, like, we react to situations that sometimes are so hard to not react to, because there's only so much we can take. When we had a long day, and we just want to relax and do nothing, and then like things come up and you have to like deal with it, and sometimes you don't want to deal with it and you freak out. Like just like I learned ways how to not freak out anymore. So I'll give you guys an example here. Like last night, putting my daughter to bed all the time is like a struggle. It's like it's really one of those things where I love her to pieces, and I want everything that's good for her and best for her, but like I don't know if any moms out there can relate, but you just sometimes want your kids to just go to bed, and so you can have that at least relief for 30 minutes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And what she does is she nonstop repeats herself, talks to us through the door, and I'm like, okay, and then she gets mad when we don't answer her.
Wow.
So, and that goes on for like 15 minutes. And then, after that 15 minutes, I start to be like, okay, it's really starting to get to me. How do I handle this without fully freaking out? And like, so what the trick is that I actually, it's not really a trick at all because anybody can do this, but just kind of, tell yourself that it's okay, it's happening. Like I have to deal with it. I have to deal with it. I have to stay, I have to stay calm, because if I just, yell, it's going to amplify. It's going to make it worse and make it go on longer. So because that's been the case. I've actually reacted, and it went on for over an hour, and she lost an hour of sleep. She got agitated more. I got agitated more, everybody else in my house did, and it didn't help anybody. But I kind of like segue my way into it now. Like last night, kind of was stern with her, said what I needed to say, and after 15 minutes, I told her, time to sleep. I will not be speaking to you anymore. So, and then she's quiet and goes to bed. And I told her, everybody else is going to sleep, so you have to be quiet. You can talk to yourself, you can talk to your animals and whatever you have in your room. She's actually good with it. And the reason why this happens now is because I kind of reset myself, kind of like I told myself that nothing's good is going to come out from being angry or being frustrated. It's just going to amplify the effect of whatever's going on and get worse and worse and worse. So I stopped reacting, and that's when the solutions kind of started coming to me as to what approach I should take with her, because I understand, like, kids and sleep, they all have their things. And I mean, like, I've dealt with that for 13 years because my other children have had their share of sleep problems, but now it's all leveling out, and we have to get through the 4-year-old, 5-year-old phase even, maybe, and then maybe we're golden. But there's still like that was just an example. Things always will come up in life, especially as a mom, whether that's dealing with financial issues, whether that's dealing with personal stuff that you're going through, like health-wise or whatever it is. Like, you're trying to do everything else for your family, for everybody else, but sometimes, and you don't end up putting yourself first.
Okay.
And I feel like
I got a question about that specifically, because I know this is one of the ways you help your clients. How does a mom handle just what you said, putting the attention and focus on herself, and then you gotta try to get your child to bed, and then you get angry and mad and frustrated, and the anxiety is all up here? How do you put the focus back on yourself?
That is a really, really good question. I'm glad you actually asked that. It is a process. It's not, it's not easy, like, especially when you're first starting out, but it doesn't really have to be hard, and you don't have to, go out for the whole day and do things for yourself and just leave your responsibilities aside, hoping your husband or somebody else handles it. No,
Right.
the thing is here, and I believe every mom can carve out, 10 to even 30 minutes a day, even if it's in increments, to kind of, process yourself in a way. Like, for example, 5 minutes, sit there in the quiet. Go outside, even if it's nice out, because I know it's been chilly, or go outside, or even in your house, look outside, and just looking out, looking what's going on outside, the nature, whatever you're looking at, and not thinking about anything. Just take what is, okay? And just enjoy that time, that peace. Like it's not really hard. I try to do it at least when I wake up in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
because it's usually the best time. I try to wake up a little bit earlier before my kids. That's also a little tip. You don't have to wake up, hours before your kids, but even like 30 minutes, you get that quiet still, and you get to kind of come to. And I do some breathing exercises in the morning, because I sometimes don't even have time to meditate in the morning when I wake up, because there's just so much things to do. Um, but I give myself at least a half an hour to kind of come to, go out, like take a breath, just stand still and be focused on the moment that I have, the quiet moment. Now, for some who don't have that ability to do that, because if they have babies, or like, kids are super little and you had a rough night of sleep or whatever it is, you know, ask ask for the time. Like,
Mm.
find someone. I'm sure there are people in your life, like all of your lives, that are willing to help you. You just have to ask. And I feel like that's one of the other issues, is that we as moms don't do, is we don't ask, because I feel like most of us, you know, think that if we ask, we're weak. Where I
No.
don't think that's the case. I think you ask for that help because you need to reset yourself and need to be there for your children 100%. So if you had a rough night of no sleep, you're not going to be any good as a mom to your baby. Sometimes you have to deal with it, but when you do have someone that you can call, you always have someone that you can have come over for an hour to give you a little bit to reset, to take that nap or whatever it is. Others, just don't be afraid to ask for help, and I mean, it's always been a struggle of mine to do that, because I never asked for help. I always thought I had to figure things out myself, and it's not the way it works. It's really about just having someone there too, to just, you know, talk to, even, talk to someone. That's another thing. Talk to someone who is on, who can understand, where you've been. Someone who can help you in any way that you need, even by talking to someone, just by talking to them. Like, sometimes I know that I need to talk to someone, and they like uplift me. They make me feel better.
Yeah.
Um, and then like my whole day changes when it comes to that. Um, no, the busyness of life, I've struggled with that way more in the past. And I buried myself in like such a deep hole that I almost, I had to climb out of the hole and dig the dirt from out from above me, metaphorically speaking. And it was like a long journey, because I had to figure, things out myself. And I tell this to everyone who's ever been in my master class, but it's just been like so transforming to figure out that the mindset where I was at has been keeping me this way. Because I mean, I went, trying to, like, what is wrong with me? Like, I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, that I was failing as a mom, because my kids were it almost felt like at one point, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I know that some may have felt, but I didn't think I was fit to be a mom when I had my kids because I was, they were always having issues with their health, with, I just felt like my kids weren't normal. Like, I'm like, what is wrong with my kids? I always judged my kids because I couldn't go out anywhere. I couldn't do anything with them. And like, I felt like they were holding me back at some point. But then I reassessed myself and I'm like, it was not my kids. It was me. I
Wow.
held myself back. Yes, because I try to blame it on my kids. And I figured out that it was me because I was afraid of what other people would think of me when I went somewhere, took my kids somewhere, because they are different than.
I have a quick question about what you're saying, Agnieszka. Why
Sure.
do moms feel like they need to be perfect?
I feel like it's almost as if the society paints us that way. Like it just shows that, you need to have it together, you need to have a job, you need to keep a house clean, you need to take care of your kids, make sure your kids succeed in school, make sure your kids are healthy, make sure that, you just do it all. And you have to do it basically with a happy face
Yeah.
and like nothing can touch you.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I can't even bring that magic to myself, no matter how much I want it. But I wish it was like that. But um, I'm actually, you know, I'm actually there where I don't let others affect me anymore as much. I mean, like I still do because I'm human.
Right.
And everybody always will because just the nature of the beast. But I feel like if we don't stop letting what's out there affect us so much, we can actually help ourselves get to a place where we are just comfortable in our own skin and we have the control over our own selves and over our own health, our own mental health beat. And it would just be so much better. Like when you don't, I don't listen to everybody because it just, over the years, I learned that when I listened to other people, it just led me on a path where I didn't really want to be at. And I never listened to my intuition, that voice inside your head, that tells you right from wrong or
Mhm.
whatever. And like it's that gut feeling as a mom that I always like kind of put aside. And I never listened to any choices I made when it came to my kids, when it came to myself. I kind of just took other people's advice and like, oh, what did you do in this situation? But I never really realized that my situation was different than theirs. And, it may have worked for them, whatever it was, didn't work for me. And once I started to listen to myself, like really listen and not be afraid to listen to it, because at first it was so scary to just like get out of my comfort zone and like, oh my God, I have to actually do this. I have to, even though I'm afraid of what can happen, I'm going to listen to it. And like I've stood up to many people over the years. And yes, I was so scared that my hands were shaking in the background
Oh
as I
my.
was doing it because it was like standing up for myself and for what I believe in. And that was so hard to do and so scary. But after doing it so many times, I felt like such a relief, like such a weight has lifted off of me because it wasn't really, the result of it wasn't really negative,
Right.
because then others started to respect me more and started to see that I actually value myself and you know, have the values that I have for to make the decisions that I make for my children, for myself, and they are what's best for me and for my family. And that's what I want to kind of tell. Sorry, my hand's a little shaky here. Um, Started to tell I want to start telling other moms this is to not be afraid to like just, say your piece.
Yeah.
I mean, like you don't always have to seem like, yeah, you want to be, you know, how should I put this? Like,
Firm. You want to be firm.
right, you want to be firm and like, but you don't, I know that you want to save face too. Like, you don't want to lose a lot of people, around you, your friends and whatever. And I get that. Like, and it's, but the thing is though, I mean, like those people that you're really trying to save face from, are they really truly like the people that you really need to have in your life? And I mean, like, I'm not talking about if you go to like, your a PTA meeting or, something in your kid's school. Yeah, you're gonna, you kind of have to put on a face sometimes. That's what you do. But um, overall, if you don't like stand your ground, like you're gonna like regret it almost. I mean, you don't want to have regrets. And when you just say your piece as respectfully as you can, you're just gonna feel like oh my God, I can't believe I did it. I'm like, this was so scary. Like, oh my God. And like this person's gonna like, and you're gonna, I lost so many friends. Like I mean, I can't even begin to count. Like all my friends that I had literally are no longer really a part of my life. And not that we left on bad terms. It's just we totally lost contact because, they're not on the same level where I am right now in life. And that's okay. And like, you have to be okay with it because you're going to invite other people in your life that are truly there for you and who see your point, who are able to, connect with you, who are able to see your view on things. And you'll just be so comfortable with these people. Like you will not hold back what you really want to say. And I feel like that's what many moms too do is they hold back. And the holding back is just, they're just, I don't know, like I just can't like paint a clearer picture for other moms out there how good it feels to just be in control. And like my anxiety like is not even there anymore. And I was like so down for the count, like I said, like my personal thing is like if something happened medically with one of my sons and to the
Mm-hmm.
point where it freaked me out, and it put me even deeper in my anxiety hole. And then I cried for literally days because I didn't know what to do anymore. Like I was lost. I had like nobody to rely on anymore. It was just bad moment in my life. But I let it cry. I let go of my emotions and I just cried and cried and cried until I stopped. And then I said, there is something that I have to do. There's something that has to be done. And there's things that have to be done because I am so done with everything. And and that's when I started coming up with solutions. And it took me a little while. I met some wonderful people along the way. And it's just slowly I started to get to a better version of myself. And then I was able to kind of be there for my kids. And now my kids are healthier than ever and they're like thriving and they're annoying me all the time, which is great. It's not always a bad thing for your kids to annoy you. It means they're like, I'd rather see their energetic, full of life
This is
personality.
true.
And they're, I mean, it is what it is. Kids are kids. And like and I handle these things from them, their talkbacks a lot better than I used to. I don't really yell. I kind of just, you know, close my eyes for a second and thank, be grateful for what I have. I'm like for example, let's say I'm getting in an argument with my 13-year-old because that
Mm-hmm.
happens a lot. And then I'm like, I walk away from him and then I say to myself, okay, I'm grateful um, that he's able to actually argue with me and try to be persistent with what he wants. I'm going to just listen to him.
Yeah.
Not going to react. and see where things go, and then stay calm. And like I do, and I actually am able to still argue, but calmly. So, and it's just we all deal with these things every single day. It's always, always, always something, and every day is something else. But it's so much better now than it used to be for me, and that's what it can be for moms out there, because I'm just like such a firm believer that if we really want to make it happen, we can make it happen. And many of my moms think that they don't have a choice, and they so do have a choice.
Well,
They have a choice.
I'll tell you a choice they have is to come to your master class.
Yeah.
Give us some more information about your master class, and do you have one coming up here soon?
Yes. So I hold my master classes every single month. The date, it's usually towards the end of the month. This month is October 25th, and I can leave some information with you if you I don't know how to post it through here, but you actually can go to my website, mindsetandintuition.com, and there's a link to register on there. And it's an hour master class, and I go through many of the things that we need to start doing in order to get out of the control that we are in, like the society standard that we're in, let's just say. So if we're like anxious, if we're like stressed all the time, if we emotionally react to things negatively, if we just don't, if you don't know, like if don't know what to do to kind of calm yourself, to get back to that place where you don't feel the guilt after, you kind of reacted or yelled at your kids, or you just yelled at someone, or you just had a bad day, wanted nothing to do with people. Like, you're going to totally, I talk about ways to kind of change that, how I went about myself, because I did it all to myself, and that's why I'm sharing it with all of you, all the moms out there, how I did it, and I'm passing it on how they can do it, because it's a step-by-step process, and it's not hard at all. It's just you have to, I teach some mindset strategies, because I feel like that's where you start. That's like the most important piece, because if you're not in the right mindset, if you don't know okay, so like, because if you're not in the right mindset, chances are you're not going to succeed, and you're not going to stick with whatever you have to do to kind of get to a place where I'm telling you can get to. It's so important. It's like, because it's the same thing, like, how many of us have told ourselves, like, I'm gonna start this exercise routine, and after doing it for a week, you're like totally done. Like, and it's just because, yeah, it's like, quit. Like, we all quit. I've been in that area, because I've kind of, thought that I need to change my, my health and my diet and all that to kind of get better. And yes, I mean, I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do, but I found myself that I wasn't really sticking with it. So, the eating better process at first. And I didn't even know why, but then I figured out that it's because my heart wasn't really in it. Like, there was something else going on a deeper level emotionally that I wasn't processing and letting out. And it was like blocking me from really pursuing like that agenda of better health, like better eating habits. So once I kind of took care of my whole emotions, my whole mindset, um, started to listen to my intuition more, it kind of, well, it didn't kind of, it actually is the piece that I needed to go far and beyond. And not only did I make I healed myself from a lot of physical issues, health issues that I had, but I've also healed my kids. So, and in the process of, even my son with autism, he's recover. I call it he's recovering
Mhm.
from autism because, you know, he's just so much more alert and so much more with us now. And yes, he's still going through a lot of issues, but since you know, since I started this process with my husband, with him, we've been sticking to it, and you know, he's been doing so much better. He's communicating with us, with everybody around him, and it's just so like it just like it almost brings tears to my eyes sometimes to just imagine that he's here doing that, and like even annoying his siblings and doing what, you know, normal kids do. And um because they were like, he wasn't even looking at me like when he was 3.
What?
He wasn't even here. Yeah, he was like diagnosed with autism at 2.5, and like he was not even in our world. Like I could talk to him and he wasn't even aware of who I was. um and now he's just talking nonstop and says he loves me and all that kind of stuff. And it just like, and I know, and like, and I'm gonna say it, and I know it's because of me. Because if I didn't change myself, he wouldn't be where he is today. And it's just, I don't know. To me, like I treasure that. It was a wake up call that he was struggling. He was the one struggling, and I didn't know how to help him. And that's when something clicked, and it was him. He was the reason, and my other son was the reason at the time. They were both dealing with anxiety. They were both dealing with health issues, neurologically, physically, and, you know, mentally. And so was I. And once I kind of figured out that piece for myself, I was able to figure it out for them as well. And, you know, now now my daughter, I started my daughter off on the right foot when she was born. So, you know, she had no choice because I learned the good ways, and you know, and basically put it on her, and she's just like my bubble of life and energy, and she's everybody's boss and
He's
says her
everybody's
piece.
boss.
And I'm trying, yeah, I'm trying to kind of like also, you know, raise her to be that way, to kind of embody the whole approach of, like mindset, natural health living.
Yeah.
I literally sometimes meditate with her. And, you know, she doesn't know what meditation is. And she will sit with me in the living room in front of a TV because we listen to music, and it's literally like 60 seconds. And then she's like, Mommy, I'm doing it. Look, Mommy, I'm doing it. Are we done yet?
She's
But
so
she's just like,
excited about it too.
yeah, she's like, you know, obviously she doesn't know exactly what the whole point of meditation is. But she is, she's, she's soaking it up, basically, the things that I try to teach her, or the things that I do around the house. She's just soaking it up, and she does it. Like, she does her oils every night. She rubs them on her feet because she says they keep her healthy. And
I love it.
I know she's 4, and I'm like, how do you know all this? I'm like, I don't make her do anything like that. You
Well,
know, and
she's
she's like,
watching
what?
you. Think about it. Like you said, soon as you shifted, you started to incorporate all of this mindset and intuition and being in control in your life and even with your children and your family. She's watching you. She's taking the example from you.
I know, and like that, I can, you know, I'm like, honestly, I am proud of myself because it takes a lot of strength and a lot of perseverance, a lot of patience. Like that's, you know, it takes a lot of patience, especially to to get to raise these children to be, you know, such, you know, because we're raising them to be adults, and I want
Mhm.
to raise them to know that they have options, they have opportunities out there. They don't have to follow what, you know, people tell them all the time. They can, you know, I mean, obviously to a point, I know how my 13-year-old is and how kids can be. They think they know better. But through that, I kind of like encourage like an open outlet for my kids to be able to talk to me and share with me, because I also feel like they're our source of life as moms, and what we put out there, they like basically they connect themselves to us. And I believe that's so true, because if they see what you do, they're going to act the same way, and in so many different little ways. And if they act out, there's usually a reason. And like, you learn these things though along the way when you get your mind clear, when you get your mind straight. Let's just say when you gain that control, things just start to unravel, so to speak. You're gonna like learn ways yourself, the steps you need to take. I mean, like I'm here for that. I can tell people what to do. I have no problem doing that. But for the most part, I try to teach other moms ways that they can do it themselves in the long run. And, a lot of people need support during this process, because I found that accountability is something that is super important when it comes to being on this journey. Because, like I said, we usually quit. But if you have that someone, it doesn't matter who it is, but usually if you have that someone that you check in with at least once a week to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to, and have that person, be your biggest supporter and guide you and listen to you and just tell you what to do if you need them to, until you feel like you can do this on your own. And that's the whole point of what I'm trying to do. And I've also created a course around it.
What's your course? Tell us about the course.
Yeah, I actually been working on it for a while, and there have been changing some things up, but I feel like I'm finally clear on it. It's called Mindset, Mindfulness, and Intuition. It's like a mini self-study course. But the thing that I added to it is a access to my private clients group,
Okay.
in which I teach. It's okay, so it's kind of like how to basically implement this whole course. So it would be like for anyone who signs up, they would receive a link to that, to my Facebook, and from there they could. I haven't done it yet. This is like something I just came up with. So I would go live with everybody and kind of sit there for an hour, explaining how to embody the whole process of the course. Where do you start? How do you go about doing it? Any things that come along the way that you can, like stepping stones that may be in your way, and how you can break through them. Just anything really, any questions that anyone has to kind of like share with me, and I will answer them all. And and also I include in that a 30-minute one-on-one session with me on, like, if there's anything private or personal they'd like to ask about, and how they can do this to make sure it works for them. So that's the two things that I included. So, but even so, like, let's say, for example, that I've already done the implementation video for the course, they will just still get the link to the Facebook group and they can watch it. And it's,
Okay.
it's for them to do, to go back to it for as many times as they need to. And the reason I did this is because sometimes if they just purchase the course, they have no idea. Like, I mean, like, they'll have an idea because I explain it in my videos on what to do, but sometimes people need that guidance and know exactly how to embody it
Yeah,
all.
because you got to put it into practice.
Yes, and how to do this every single day so you don't kind of fall off track. and make sure you succeed, because it's just it's important to practice this every single day for like at least to me it seems like may seem like a lot of time for some people, but at least 3 months, because it takes and on an everyday basis, because it's a habit. We're trying to kind of like form a new habit of um, changing that mindset, so it makes you it becomes a lifestyle for you, and a total 180, like, you flip it, from, anxiety ridden to, oh, nothing can touch me now type of thing. And in there, actually, I've also come up with a self accountability kind of checklist, which is included as well. If to just keep track of yourself, it's always easier with someone by your side to do that, because I know that when I have to answer to someone, I kind of better have something to tell them that I've actually done and, managed to do. And like, it's not, everybody will fail. Like, you may not succeed at one day, you may fall off track, but the whole point of it is to just, have someone remind you that it's okay, and that, bounce back. It's not it's one of those things where it's a process, and like it's changing literally ourselves from the inside, and it's going to take some hard work. And it took me years to get to where I am right now. And but I've put everything that I've learned into this course and into these master classes, and just want to put it out there for everyone to see, because they don't have to they don't have to have it take years. It can take them a few short months, a few short weeks. Depends on where you are, I mean, like, sometimes it's easier for some than others. It depends where, like, how where your mindset is, really. Like, I mean, if you're like into that, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get it done no matter what it takes. If you're there, then, chances are you will succeed. And because you'll think of the end result and where you want to be. So if you like, there is screaming in my house, so I'm sorry if you hear it. That's my daughter.
Oh, I can't. I can't.
Okay. So yes. So this whole, and I mean, I actually have a special that I'm running as well with this course, since I'm kind of just launched it. And for the first 3 people, I have actually an agreement with Elmira. You know her. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Rebecca. Okay, I have
Okay.
an agreement
Yes.
with
Yes.
Rebecca, who is, you know,
Emotion
does
code.
emotional treatment.
Right.
Yeah, emotion code. So for the first 3 people who actually purchase the course, they can get a free emotional code with Rebecca. And I
Beautiful.
feel like it's such an amazing opportunity, because I've worked with Rebecca. She
Me
cleared some of
too.
my emotions, and it's helped me so much, and she's so amazing. And like, I am, this will just like amplify, I feel like, the whole process of the course. And and it's like, I just want I just want other moms to just thrive. I mean, like, I don't have like a, you know my personal investment in this is that I want other moms to know that they can overcome anxiety and overcome the burdens of life, and not let it affect them as much through the natural approach. They don't have to turn to medications. They don't have to be, you know, thinking that there's no way out, or that there's only one way out, and there's multiple ways out, and that they're beautiful already inside and out, and they have the power to do this, for themselves. And if they do this for themselves, everyone around them will see it. because they're just going to be radiating different energy and just being more present. They're going to just be happier, and like, you know, they'll be happy, and it's the, you know, and they'll be able to take on anything that life throws at them, because life throws stuff at us all the time, and sometimes it's
All
really
the time. Yes.
unexpected and crappy. I mean, like, I still get things thrown at me all the time, but um I've just been
But
able to kind of
through
shift.
applying your techniques, you've understood how to, because you were talking about this earlier, you've understood how to respond and not react. I
Yeah.
do have a question for you because, and you got me thinking about this with your son, because some mom on here is going to be like, I've tried everything. My child is 12. We did this when she was 7 and 8, and I'm tired of, can the child, my question for you is, can the child really change? And can the mom change?
Absolutely, 100%, 1,000%, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's, I can't stress it enough, because sometimes I feel like if we don't see this change in our kids, it's because, you know, they're not, you know, you feel like you're not doing something right. You're not using the right approach. You start to question yourself. And chances are you're not using the wrong approach in anything. It's just you're telling yourself like that you probably already have it preset in yourself that this isn't going to work.
Hmm.
Because that is almost like you see other, you know, like, I find this a lot. I see this a lot, like other moms comparing themselves to other moms. And because I used to do it too, and I'm like, how come her kid is like able to do this and my kid can't? Or, you know, how come my kid freaks out at this situation and her kid is so calm? Like, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I compared myself to other parents. However, like, they can overcome many health issues. Like, my kids are prime examples. I mean, like, if I could have recorded my whole life story, I would have, and I would have shown everyone. But I do have actually some videos up on my website from how my son used to be at the age of 3 to kind of what he is right now. And right now, that was posted, the current one was posted when he was only like 8 years old. He's now 10 and even better. So I may update that for you. So that's kind of like an example, but you'll be able to know how far he's come. But that all started, nothing was changing when I was, you know, when I started to change their diet and stuff like that, because I was, I'm going to give you an example. So when I decided to change myself, do something about myself to start changing, I decided to first to dive into my kids. And I'm like, okay, well, this is the way I can make them healthier, my son. So I changed his diet. And then I looked at him and the effects that he was going through, like the detox effects,
Hmm.
were so bad that I thought I was hurting him, like physically hurting him, because he was sick. And I mean, and I didn't know it at the time, but that was the natural process of him getting rid of all the nastiness that was in him. You know, and I stopped. So I kind of called the quits on him, like, you know, went back to the old way of feeding him and whatever worked, because I got scared. I'm like, oh my God, am I hurting him? Like, and see, this is what I'm trying to see. I was under the impression that I was hurting him. It was
Yeah.
my perception of what society was telling me. Basically, not perception. It's what society was telling me, that you're doing this to your kid and you're hurting him. He's sick because you're doing this and you're hurting him. So like, I'm like, this is what my story was. And then that's how I realized, I'm like, wait a minute, this is me. It's me. It's me doing it. So like, I mean, like, it took me a long time to kind of realize that it was me, until like I set myself straight. And then when I started the whole process with him again, and after that, it's been like a couple months after that, because I had to get myself right in the head. And he started going through the similar effects, and yet I was not affected by it like before. And I'm like, nope, he has to go through this. This is what happens. And, along the way, now before I even got to that point, I also had reached out to many other parents who were going through the same issues. And, so that's where social media is amazing. You can find everybody there. But so it took a couple days for him to kind of get through this sickness process. But then he was like, started to eat the things I wanted him to eat, like wholesome foods. People think that people think that I was hurting him, that, you're hurting him, you're hurting your son, you're hurting your child when you're not allowing him to eat certain things. But guess what? He started to look us in the eyes after that and started to
go.
Speak.
Exactly.
Started to speak. And when he actually communicated something that he wanted, which I thought never would happen in my entire life, because they told us, I mean, like at the pediatrician's office that, well, not the pediatrician, the neurological pediatrician, that likely this was a life sentence. And I mean, like for him, and like that's where I was. That's where my mindset was, because I believed them. I believed that they told me that he's never going to be a member of the society. And today he's a member of society, because I changed my whole approach on myself, technically. I mean, like, so when I reset myself, I reset my kids, and and I had judgment from people. And you are going to, like, and many moms need to be aware that, once they start changing things for their kids, they may get some backlash from families, from their own family, from friends, because people are like, why are you doing that to your kid? Like, people are going to start, and then, then you're going to start questioning yourself again. And that's when the whole mindset process that I'm trying to teach in my master classes and in my course, that's where that comes in, because that's when you're going to learn not to let those kinds of voices affect you on the personal level.
I know, because the thing what you just described was a miracle. This neurologist said, oh, your son will never be a member of society in this way, but because you were adamant about controlling the situation, about changing his diet, all of these wonderful things. You even use you talk about using your intuition. You use your intuition instead of listening to other people, what they said. Oh, you're harming your child. No, you said, I know this is working. I know this is helping.
Yes, 100%. And like, it's like, because I'm not afraid to listen to it anymore. And, I've had, like I've said already, I mean, like, I had some backlash from other people, even from, in the past, from family who didn't understand why, we decided to do what we decided to do. But I'm like, and then this is the question I asked myself. I'm like, wait a minute, who am I doing this for? Am I doing this for other people? Am I doing this to please somebody else? Or what is important to me? Is my kids' health important to me, more important to me than another person's opinion? And that's when I said yes, like that my kids take precedent over anybody else's opinion. And sure, I mean, I have no qualms in hearing other people's opinions, and and some people have good opinions, and doctors have good advice, and I take it all in, and then I make my own decision based on what I know, based on all the knowledge I've gathered, of all the opinions I've heard, and I ask myself, what is the right approach? And usually that hits. Usually that, and it's usually the right approach. So I'm not telling you to not to neglect what other people are saying. But if it's something that doesn't feel right to you, like that what they're saying or giving you advice over just doesn't sit well with you, and you will know, because it's that uncomfortable feeling that you have within yourself, then just don't listen to it. I mean, like, you don't have to be rude. You just, don't listen to it.
Right.
I mean, that's the only thing. Because there's a lot of times where I don't agree with a lot of many people's opinions, but I still hear them out, and I'm still, respectful and listen. But it doesn't mean I'm going to follow their approach. So it's just, it's really the whole benefit of being in the right state of mind that's going to make magic basically happen in your life. And I know that many people look for a miracle, and many moms look to, set themselves free. They've tried all the things, and chances are the things that you've tried or they've tried have failed because they weren't in they're not, their heart is not in that place, even if they think that it is. And it's because they're afraid to break out. They're afraid to change. And their fear is really just holding them back from what can actually happen once they break through it. It's just, it's like fear is one of those things too. It's, we're all going to be afraid sometimes, that doesn't go away. It's a part of life. It's an emotion, it's a feeling, but it's how you deal with it. And I know I actually go through a whole emotional piece on what it does to you in the course, and how you can overcome that, how you can release those emotions, and don't hold them in, because that's also it. If you hold in your emotions every single day, it's a little something I'm giving you from my course here. So it's like if you hold your emotions in, they're likely to just stay there, and be trapped within your bodies. And yes, that's what Rebecca helps with. But I also have a different approach as well, where you can actually do these things yourself. And I actually wrote up a whole thing about it in my course. And it's just, you need to release it. You just need to release, no matter what way you do it. Cry. I mean, people are so afraid to cry, but because they say that, oh, girls cry about anything, and who cares?
It's okay.
I mean, we feel better after. I mean, honestly, and what I've noticed is that when I actually cry, no matter how bad I want to keep crying, I don't anymore. I stop. And I'm like, why am I not crying anymore? And it's because you kind of let it go. Whatever was eating at you, you let that go. You didn't hold it in. And, you have to sit with it. You just have to sit with whatever emotion you have and let it happen. Let it overtake you for a minute or two. And chances are within minutes, it's just going to dissipate. And you're going to start feeling in another feeling. And it's like a whole process that that happens. So I just find it really, really important.
Yeah. So everybody, you all need to follow Agnieszka here. She is going to help you to manage your life. And the website again is mindsetandintuition.com. You all can get in her course. The first 3 people who join the course actually get a free emotion code session with another beautiful practitioner. So this is one of the wonderful things you get. Make sure you are following her here on Instagram, as well as sign up for the next masterclass. It'll be happening later this month. You can get that at the website, mindsetandintuition.com. Again, thank you for coming on and giving us this wisdom, this knowledge, and sharing your story. We're closing out.
Thank you so much for having me. It was truly a blessing to be here, and I hope I reached to some moms out there that are able to benefit from this. So I appreciate it. It was amazing, and thank you so much.
Bye, everybody. Y'all have
Bye, everybody.
Day.
Bye.